Can you hear me now?
Yes, Dr. Paul.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Good evening, attendees from India, and good morning to all the attendees from Canada. Today, we bring to you a very important webinar on, Mitacs-SICI Partnership, and something which is happening on a very popular demand because a lot of our, scholars have been requesting for the same, and we will just give 1 more minute to all the attendees to come on board, because I see slowly, all the attendees are joining, and while we are speaking, we will also be going live on Facebook. So allow us just 30 to 40 seconds while we arrange all the setup. Thank you.
In the meantime, my apologies for the glitch that we had at my end. I welcome my colleague Anju Taneja and colleagues from Canada side who are running the show for Mitacs, Darren and Pina. Very warm welcome to both of you, and I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful webinar, and that can serve for many prospective applicants, not just who are going to attend it now, but we were discussing about it, and we thought this recording can be used, disseminated amongst the prospective participants to go back again and again if there is any question. And because this program is in much demand from our side as well, I would want this to be a similar webinar to be, hosted again after 15 days or 20 days time. And that time it would be more conducive to the Canadian time, because this time I think it's quite early in the morning, and many of the reasons in Canada may not be able to, participants from that side may not be able to join us. So we will have another webinar in 15, 20 days after. But in the meantime, this recording can be made available to people, to the scholars who are interested to apply and have any queries in this regard. So very warm welcome. Are we good to go, Picky, now?
Absolutely, yes. We are live on the Facebook, and I once again, welcome all the attendees. Thank you for joining, Darren and Etienne. Thank you so much, Anju, for your time, and Dr. Paul for your time. This is one significant partnership, which has significantly strengthened, the research network in India and Canada, at all levels, right from undergrad to postdoctoral. So I would not be the right person to, be speaking a lot about this. So I will, pass over the baton to Dr. Prachi Kaul, who will, begin with the formal session from here on. Dr. Kaul, over to you.
Thank you, Picky. Thank you very much. Let's begin with the slideshow, Picky, and if we can
yes, sure.
briefly talk about the Institute and Mitacs partnership then. And then there are, I think, Anju would be the best person to talk about the program. And then we can invite Darren and Pino to take over and talk about the program at their end. So most of you who would be attending the webinar would be probably, I'm assuming that they are aware of Shastri Institute's activities. But just to let you know, we have in 2018 we completed 50 years of our existence, and we have a wonderful collaboration with 152 institutions in India and Canada. This was a joint vision that was created by Shri Lal Bahadur Shastri, the Prime Minister of India, and Lester B. Pearson, the Prime Minister of Canada. And it so happened that during a convocation speech at McGill University in Canada, our Prime Minister, Indian Prime Minister, expressed a desire to have a platform to have exchange or have collaboration between India and Canada. And unfortunately, soon after that, he passed away. And as an homage to our Prime Minister, Mr. Pearson, the Canadian Prime Minister has created and incepted this institute in Canada. And we were housed for a good 25 years at McGill University. Thereon, we shifted to University of Calgary. We have 2 offices, one in India, in New Delhi, and one in Calgary now. You can go on to next slide, Vicky. This was created keeping in mind the interest of academics and research, the fraternity, And I can say that we have served very well. Thousands of scholars have been benefited. And if you talk about us, who we are a binational organization, the only binational organization on this corridor. There are many organizations working on this corridor, but either they are Indian or they are Canadian. So truly binational component that we present to you. As I said, we have been promoting understanding between India and Canada through various activities and exchange programs for last 50 years. And the broad-based initiative remains as supporting the creation of binational linkages between academia, government, and the business community, and also with civil society organizations. We provide opportunities for individuals to gain first-hand experience in India and Canada. We have the Director of International Partnership, Mitacs, who's here with us today, is an alumni of Shastri Institute. I'm very pleased to place this here because this is the outcome, and maybe while he's touching upon the presentation or he has any remarks to play, to say, he can, touch upon that component, how Shastri and Mitacs partnership altogether can be utilized to create wonderful ambassadors like you who have now taken over an important position, and I'm sure you will be serving the best anybody else can do. So thank you for being here with us. Also, we have awarded dozens of academic events, and we have provided opportunities to faculties and researchers and students at all level, whether it is undergrad level or doctoral or postdoctoral scholars or faculties or academic administrators. There have been opportunities created for them to collaborate with India and Canada. And as I said, that these SICI alumni turned to as an official ambassador, unofficial, I would say, ambassador of India and Canada at respective places. And this is wonderful, to see that our scholars know more about, Indian scholars know more about Canada than any Canadians would know. So, and similarly, vice versa, I received an email from a scholar from Canada, and he is desperately waiting for these, for the current time to go off, and so that you can visit the wonderful land that is called India. And he is long associate of Shastri, and he has seen himself growing as a scholar for over 30 years time. So once you are connected with the institute as an alumni, I think you remain forever a family of Shastri, become a family of Shastri Institute forever. Go on to the next slide, Vicky. Built and strengthen intellectual and cultural linkages between Canada and India through facilitating high-class research, dialogue, exchange, and dissemination. This is the mission that Shastri carries. Yeah. This is the growth. We started with 3 members, that is University of Toronto, McGill, and UBC in Canada. In 2005, you can see there were 27. At that time, it was only Canadian members that were part of Shastri network. But right now, it is 154. And we became binational in 2005. And we opened the doors for Indian member institutions to join the member council. We created a member council called as Indian Member Council. And now we have all prestigious institutions. You can name one from India side as a member of Shastri Institute. So the growth has been enormous, and we are going stronger and stronger in terms of membership. And I can always say that our members are our strength and vis-a-vis. So yeah, we take pride in being a strongest member council ever that have witnessed on this corridor between India and Canada. A couple of opportunities, windows of opportunities that we have, and I would like to present them in these, in the form of these windows. And the first window is called student mobility. We can categorize that accordingly. And student mobility has different components, like an internship program that we offer exclusively from Shastri, and also with, in partnership with Mitacs called Global Internship Program. And similarly, the other program, GRA, for which the webinar is based today, is another component of our student programming. We have programs that that facilitates Indian scholars to be in Canada and Canadian scholars to be in India. Over the period of time, there have been different kind of and nature of programs that we have introduced, keeping in mind the requirement of the time. So this window is exclusively for students, and I'm very pleased to share with this audience that whatever grant we receive from Government of India or Canada, 70% of the grant is exclusively kept for this students category of programming. So most of the most focus of our programming lies on students, and that too a younger lot of students that we keep in mind that they need more nurturing and hand-holding. So we provide more funding for those kind of students. Window 2 is for faculty mobility. As you can understand, we have faculty mobility program, and that enables faculty and administrators to visit India or Canada. Window 3 is for collaborative research grants. Window 4 is application of knowledge, by which I mean that if you have become a scholar and then you want to organize an academic event, or even if you're not an alumni, you want to host a conference between India and Canada, you can those opportunities can be explored through window 4, that is application of knowledge. Along with that, we are also into promotion and facilitation activities between India and Canada. I would not go into the detail of these all programs because the focus here is on GRA program. The slide presents, and this information is available on the website of Shastri Institute, so please refer that there. I would like to skip this slide and go to next. Now it is the program that we are talking about. Just to let you know, Mitacs is a wonderful partner, and Mitacs and Shastri Institute both sits on the board of science joint working group between India and Canada on science, technology, and engineering. And as a partner there, we carry the agenda to promote collaboration between the two countries. And as an effort, towards this direction, we have signed an MOU with Mitacs in last June. And I'm very pleased to share that immediately after signing the MOU, we have come up with this programming. And programming have been successful in terms of receiving attention from our prospective applicants. So I would say that I'm very pleased that we have decided to meet together. Mitacs and SICI officials have decided to meet together and provide this presentation, provide this webinar, and through that, the information that can go to our prospective applicants. I would now like to invite Ms. Taneja to bring in the information, share her presentation with the audience who is present here with us. Thank you. Over to you, Anju.
Thank you, Prachi. As my presentation is more on the specifics of the program, I think we'll have Darren coming in right now because he has more overview of the program. So Darren, would you like to take over from us?
Thank
Darren,
you, Andrew.
yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I was muted. So thank you, Dr. Prachikal and Andrew, Taneja, for that kind introduction. Can we get the presentation up? Oh.
Yeah, sure. I'm just running that.
Sure. Perfect. Well, I hope everyone in Canada and India are staying safe. Our news tells us that the COVID numbers are on the rise in India due to its dense population. So I want to wish everyone that their friends and family are okay at this time. And it's a pleasure to be here to discuss our partnership and the support of the launch of the Globalink Research Award program. It's also referred to as the GRA. So if I say GRA within this context, you can know that I'm referring it to the program. And so as mentioned, my name is Darren Lum. I'm an International Partnerships Officer at Mitacs. And I'd like to give you a short overview of who Mitacs is, and for those of you who don't know, and then get into the details specifically of the GRA program. So Mitacs is a national, not-for-profit organization funded both by the federal and provincial governments to drive demand and drive the innovation agenda, to support our researchers and collaborations, and also help train the next generation of talent and researchers. In Canada, Mitacs is mostly known for its role as a key player in the research and development ecosystem, but specifically with industry and academic connections. We have a very strong team of business development people across the country in all the provinces who help connect academic researchers and support collaborations with companies. Next slide, please. Here's a quick snapshot of some of the numbers. So last year, we helped fund over 10,000 internships. We're partnered with all of our Canadian universities. So we have a business development person that's a prime and typically located at the university to be very close with all the professors and academic researchers. We've been in operation for 21 years now. And in that time, we're quite proud to say that we've invested over $700 million Canadian in over 6,000 companies and resulting in over 35,000 research projects. Next slide. So Mitacs has a suite of programs similar to SASTRI's that can be generally categorized into these 4 umbrella areas. As mentioned, it's our Accelerate and Elevate program, which is meant for master's, PhD, and postdoctoral fellows. We have an international flavor of that involves the international companies and universities. We have our Globalink Research Programs, which is for both undergraduate and graduate mobility, which we're both partnered. Although this program is, this webinar is for the Globalink Research Award, we are also partnered with SASTRI on the Globalink Research Internship Program, as well as we're starting to also get more connected into a startup soft landing program, which is called Mitacs Entrepreneur International, which has the idea of housing startups in both international and Canadian incubators to support the launch or scale up or mentorship of startups. Okay, so next slide, please. As mentioned, one of the programs we're partnered with the Globalink Research Award, but we all also partnered with the Globalink Research Internship. So the Globalink Research Award, or the GRA, it's a 6,000 Canadian dollar grant for masters, PhD, or postdoctoral fellows meant to support them in their research collaboration between Canadian and international institutions. This partnership is a bilateral agreement meant to support both Canadian research going abroad for a short period of time, meaning 12 to 24 weeks, and in this case, Indian researchers coming to Canada. The grant itself has a very flexible use. It can be used for airfare, accommodations, living costs, and etc. And there's a small percentage that can also be used for research costs. Although it is worth mentioning that typically the total $6,000 is spent on accommodations and living costs, as those can get quite costly. It also is worth mentioning that regardless of whether you travel for 12 or 24 weeks, the total award is still $6,000. It doesn't matter whether it's the 12 or 16 or 20 weeks. It's always $6,000. Okay, next slide, please. So it's also some additional information. It's important to note that all disciplines are eligible under this program, whether it's science, math, social sciences, humanities, engineering. Those are just some examples. All disciplines are eligible as long as it has to do with core research. The application itself goes under a research review, and our teams make sure that the core functionality of the project is for research. Within this partnership, the 2 collaborating institutions must be a part of the SASTRI network. It's quite a comprehensive network, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue trying to find suitable hosts and home institutions. At this particular program as well, we allow for applications to come in at any time with no deadlines, but realize that you should be really submitting an application with a good amount of time in between when you expect to travel. We think typically 12 to 16 weeks is enough. You know, once you submit the application, both Mitacs and SASTRI review the applications. This can take up to 6 weeks, but usually it's only 4. And after that, you know, there is the process of getting visas. And from what I hear, due to COVID, there is a backlog of visas. So regardless, you should try to apply with good time before you expect to travel. There is lots of flexibility, as mentioned, within this award. So once the award is given, the researcher has actually 1 year to use it. So, you know, perhaps you wanted to travel 20 weeks in advance. So let's say you submit the application and you get the award back on, for simplicity's sake, we can say January 1, and maybe you want to travel in March. But in fact, you know, maybe something happens, whether it's global or whether it's specific to yourself, you can push that date and you could travel in, for example, June or July the same year. It's quite flexible in that way. And then, you know, if something happens, you can always push it again to September. So next slide, please. There is one major change. It is it mostly impacts the Canadian researchers, and the Canadian researchers should be aware of this, as it is an additional step in the application. Due to the very large demand of the program last year, Mitacs had to make some of these modifications, which have resulted in this change. And the major change is that each Canadian university has a maximum number of GRAs that they can use per year. As mentioned, we had very large demand, and so we had to create this sort of maximum quota situation. This number is different per university and was calculated in a kind of fair and equitable manner, taking into account the university's student population, so its size, its geographic location due to provincial funding, usage of the program previously. So we try to encourage more usage for the universities that were using it, and some other factors that kind of took all into account some of these, and these are some of these numbers are very large. So this really shouldn't be too much of an issue from an Indian researcher standpoint. But what that really means is at the researcher level, they need to ensure that their project is approved by the Office of Research, who manages their quota. Depending on the university, it could also be the VP of International. But ultimately, what that really means is before you start your application, before you put too much work in, it's important to get the Canadian researcher to get this endorsement informally at least first, and then formally with a signature on the application before you put too much work in the application. If you don't know who you know how to do this or what you need to do, as mentioned, we have a local business development resource. They can always provide a kind introduction to the right person, so you don't have to be emailing all these different people. And we can always set that up to make sure that you get connected to the right people. Okay, next slide. I'll just quickly mention some of the benefits of the program. It's quite evident, you know, this program supports new and existing collaborations. So it doesn't it doesn't matter whether you've been collaborating with a potential partner for years or whether it's a brand new one. This program is able to support both. During the collaboration, there's, you know, knowledge sharing and best practices, which is, you know, the whole point of collaborating. The traveling researcher is able to broaden their research network and develop both develop from a personal and professional level. You know, this person may or may not have ever traveled to Canada, and you, as you may know, Canada is a quite diverse country. So whether they've traveled to different provinces, you know, there's a personal level of development as well as professional level. And depending on the collaboration, this enables researchers to get access to different types of equipment, especially if it's quite expensive, obviously at the collaborating institution that would have it. That is one way of leveraging a collaboration specifically due to a high cost of a potential equipment. Next slide, please. And And then, don't take my word for it. So we have a comprehensive exit survey data that supports this program, and the people who use it really truly love it. 85% of students report an increased interest in pursuing a career in R&D. Over 90% of students report that participating in this program improved their career prospects. Over 90% of the students report an increased interest and involvement in research collaborations and networks. And the supervisors themselves also report an increased interest and involvement in research collaborations and networks, right? So just to give you a small glimpse of the demand, typically we do about 600 to 800 of these per year. And last year there is demand to do twice that amount. So we were trying to do about 1,500 to 1,600 last year. So that's why we had to make some of those changes. So lastly, I do want to introduce my colleague Etienne Pinault. He's a business development director for international, specifically for this program. So he's, although quite new, will become an expert in this area. And he's here to discuss a special initiative that Mitacs is launching with Shastri this fall. So over to you, and next slide, please.
Thank you, Darren, for the kind introduction. So hello, everyone. I'm Etienne. And as Dr. Cole mentioned, I'm a proud Shastri alumni. I did a Shastri program about 7 years ago in Chandigarh. And I think for me as well, when I saw the GRA results of people who participated in the program, I also can say that for me, it was a very important part of my path. And it was very helpful to start my career afterward. So on that, can I have the slide back, please? Yes. So as Darren said, we have a special initiative that will be launched in the fall. It will be a GRA thematic call. Although we're still attaching all the details right now, more information will be communicated in the following weeks. But you can know that this call will be running in parallel with the normal GRA program. And the idea is to have a focal point to re-energize our research community that was kind of affected, badly affected with the COVID-19 situation. So it's to put our partners like Shastri under the projector, as we say in French. Sorry, sometimes I speak in French in my head, and I have and I say a French expression in English, if that makes sense. Anyway, so the idea is to stimulate the collaboration between Canada and Shastri and other international partners. And we chose 4 themes that we think are broad enough to have participants from various disciplines. So they're transdisciplinary themes. Now you have the 4 big themes, but there will be some subcategories to specify what kind of project we're expecting. So the first one is artificial intelligence. The second one is quantum computing. The third one is green economy. And the fourth one is pandemic preparedness. So if you have any interest in these 4 topics, please stay tuned. And the call will probably be launched around mid-October, mid-September, early October until December. So yes, so that's it. So Darren, you can take over.
That's it from my end. So I can pass it over back to Andrew to go a little bit into the finer details.
Yes, thank you, Darren. Thanks for giving the overview of the program. Now we could go into the specifics, and I would really, because all our research scholars are here, so I would like to talk about the eligibility requirements for the Mitacs-SICI GRA program. We have shared this. I think, Vicky, if you could just put on the slide number 9 of our presentation. I think.
Yeah, sure. Just give me one moment because I had to switch it off. Just allow me a few seconds. It's almost there.
Surely. Surely.
And
please do take your time.
So you said slide number 9, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Here you go.
Yes. So if you could see, the applicant must be registered as a full-time master's, PhD student, or a postdoctoral fellow at the eligible Indian or Canadian university or institution. That is our SICI member institutions, both in India or in Canada. And they should remain as such throughout the GRA award. And the postdoctoral fellows may apply if their date of graduation from a PhD program is no more than 5 years prior to the proposed start date of the research project. And the other one is, you cannot undertake a research project in a country where you hold the citizenship unless you are a permanent resident of, Canada. And of course, there are other requirements like the legal age of majority in Canada and India, which is 18 years of age. And you cannot hold more than one Globalink Research Award per academic lifetime. These are the eligibility conditions for the research scholars to apply for the program. You have to meet travel requirements for their intended, for your intended destination, including visa and or immigration requirements and associated documentation. Vicky, we are at the other slide, number 10. You can share the same. Thank you. International participants cannot undertake a research project in a country where they hold citizenship, as I just conveyed. And these are the few eligibility specific to the GRA program. If you slide down to the slide number 11, you would find the application requirements for the program, which are, you have to submit the application documents in English or French. The form has to be filled, the GRA form, the research proposal, the intern has to give their CV, and you should have letters of support from both your host and home professors. And you should also be sharing the host supervisor's CV. And you for getting the eligibility requirements for home supervising and host supervising professors, you can see that, go on the website for more details. Like, they should be holding a faculty position at a Canadian university or your home institution, that is India or Canada. You have another requirement that they be eligible to host graduate students. So these are a few eligibility criteria for your home or your host supervising professors. If we can move on to the slide number 12, we find that for Canadian scholars coming to India, we have just kind of highlighted that, as Darren has already conveyed in his presentation, that it generally takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get your proposal when you submit, and getting it approved and reviewing from both India, from SICI and from Mitacs. So generally, SICI will select the Mitacs approved proposals within 2 weeks of the receipt, and SICI will, where possible, assist with logistical details for eligible Canadian participants in India. So that's the facilitation that SICI will provide to the prospective awardees. Mitacs will coordinate and manage the operational delivery of the program, including evaluating project proposals, delivering professional development workshops, issuing all outcome and award notification. So this is for the Canadian scholars coming to India. Now, if we go to the slide number 13, which deals with Indian scholars going to Canada, Mitacs will work with Canadian universities to arrange logistical details of their stay within reasonable limits and to the extent deemed necessary by Mitacs. And of course, they will again coordinate and manage the operational delivery of the program, including evaluating project proposals, delivering professional development workshops, issuing all outcome and award letters. So basically, these are a few requirements, and which at a glance, which will help you to see what kind of proposals and what kind of eligibility conditions are there. That would be all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Anju, and thank you, Darren. And, this was I would say that these were the most important details that were shared by my colleagues from India and Canada. And I think if you have focused on this, most of the questions would have been answered, but there might be many that we may experience through question and answer during the question and answer session. Just to let you know that this program that we have launched with in partnership with Mitacs is the kind of replacement of the program that Shastri offered earlier, which was Shastri Student Research Fellowship Program for doctoral and postdoctoral students. So if there is anybody in the audience who have been looking for that opportunity to explore, please, I would suggest to you that you look into the details of this program, because that program is not in existence for this year. This was not launched this year. So we have replaced that with this Global Link GRA program for which the presentation is being today. So this is important information, because I have been receiving queries on when are we going to launch the other program that was called Shastri Research Fellowship Program for doctoral and postdoctoral scholars. So this is one clarification from my end that is needed. Of course, you need to be coming in from member institutions, as Darren has stated in his presentation. You have to be from member institution of Shastri Institute 104, as we have mentioned, and the list is available on the website. If you are not from one of these institutions, unfortunately, you will not be able to apply through this program. However, there is another program. I don't want you to be disappointed here. Mitacs has a partnership with AICTE, All India Technical Education, but I'm not sure if GRA is a component that they have in place with AICTE, but GRI program, Global Research Internship Program, is very much in existence in collaboration with AICTE, so you can explore that. But GRA program with Shastri have to have participants or applicants coming in from its member institution. This is another important feature of the program that you have to keep in mind. I would also like to tell you, as Darren said, that there's no timeline per se, but spots are limited, the seats are limited, and the numbers are very, very restrictive. So once we have awarded a number of awards that are in agreement between Shastri and Mitacs, we may close for that particular year, or then we may start preparing for the next year's GRA program. So I would suggest that utilize your time well and don't wait for the last minute to apply for it. As soon as you are ready with the application and you have done the preliminary review at your end with your supervisor in India and Canada, do submit your application on time. Just a minute. Sorry for that. Yeah, do submit your application on time. And the other point here, I would like to mention that in the following program, that is GRI, the GRI, I'm sorry for the disturbance here and the distraction that has caused by my phone that was refusing to switch off. Yeah, so The GRI program also, you need to be there. Are a couple of people who have written to me for this webinar that they are interested in GRI. We will be holding another webinar when time comes, but this webinar is actually only focused on GRA program. So if you have any other query, you can place it in question and answer session. And apart from that, if there's anything that my colleagues would like to highlight right now, I would like to welcome them here. Darren and Anju, would you like to say anything else to our scholars, those who are present here, for them to understand how to prepare a good application? And is there any mantra or is there any secret that can work out for them to be successful? Over to you.
I can quickly mention a few things. First off, thank you for mentioning the AICTE partnership. As mentioned, we are currently also partnered for the GRI program specifically. We are looking to expand our partnership there as well to include the GRA program, as well as our Accelerate International program. But at this time, due to COVID, it's kind of slowed down negotiations and progress just because funding availability and just the ability to get things approved due to social distancing and people working from home has slowed down. But for those who would be eligible under the AICTE partnership, you can look forward to that potentially in 2021. So that's some good news. In terms of some tips and tricks for the actual application, I could share that to ensure that you have a strong application, a lot of the emphasis is put on the supervisor and host and home supervisor recommendation letters. These are very important because ultimately, master's, PhD, and postdoctoral fellows will have very strong cumulative GPAs, and so these recommendation letters are very important. So make sure that those are in really great shape. I'm trying to think as what else. Typically, you can also get feedback on your application. So as mentioned, because these aren't deadline-driven applications, if you do submit an application and it is rejected, typically it's rejected and there are comments, it says, please review this certain area, or please, revise this area. You can submit again an additional application. So make sure that if you do apply and you aren't awarded the award, that you listen to the comments, because those are the people who are evaluating the application. So make sure that if you do apply, to get that feedback and to revise your application accordingly. I'll say that much. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Anything from you, Anju, that you would like to advise on?
No, Prachi, I think it's all been shared. There is nothing we would all would want as a scholar. It should be an eligible research. As it is open for all disciplines. So we are just looking for a good research proposal, which is supported by both the letters, as you've all communicated, the host and the home professors, and I think that should be a very good start to get the award.
Yeah, and I would just like to add, as Darren said, that we are open for all disciplines, and this remains as a motto of Shastri, that we would like to encourage all sorts of research, and all domain of knowledge should be encouraged from our side and Mitacs side. We have decided on that. We are in agreement, and for that matter, the 4 themes that have been shared by my colleagues there, these are important to keep in mind, that these can be exclusively, you can be submitting your proposal exclusively on that particular theme. There can be a number of aspects of that particular theme, but if there's a humanities and social sciences component, that can also be part of any research that can be submitted under those particular themes is very much encouraged. And I would encourage more and more researchers from those disciplines like law, traditional cultures. I mean, integration is very, very important, and we really believe that any research can be successful if it is not, if it is successfully implemented in any society. So what Shastri believes and what Mitacs, I think, believe is that integrating research from different domains is very, very important for all of us and make it successful that way. The current competition which is on have no specific theme to advertise, and it is all open for everybody. So it's very, very open and generic for all the researchers. But this is in future that we would be announcing a program with all these 4 theme areas we have consented upon. But for now, it is all open. So you are encouraged to feel free. And if there's any confusion, you are requested to get in touch with the Shastri office or Mitacs office, whatsoever is convenient for you. So primarily, these were the issues that we wanted to highlight through this webinar. Piki, would you like to take up the question answers now, or how would you plan to go about it?
Yes, we don't have many questions now left because I think a lot of them have already been answered by Darren, Anju, and every one of you. But there is one question which I had received in the email on the SICI events email ID, so I thought I would read out to you. Not sure if this has already been answered or not. Maybe it's a unique question in itself. So this is, how is this collaboration between Mitacs and SICI will help us in pursuing higher studies? Is there any mode through which the Shastri scholars can apply for the Globalink Graduate Fellowship? So this came in the email, so I thought I'd read it out.
Sure. So just to mention very quickly, the Globalink Graduate Fellowship is a scholarship award that Mitacs offers to any of the alumni of the GRI program. So as mentioned, the GRI program is the undergraduate level summer research internship. The GGF is a scholarship offered to any alumni of the program that decide that they would like to do a master's or PhD in Canada that is research based. So not necessarily like an MBA or like a professional degree, like for a doctor or pharmacist or lawyer. But if you decide to do a master's or PhD research focused, we offer a $15,000 one-time scholarship. That's really the only case at which you can receive that particular fellowship.
Thank you, Darren. Meenakshi, I think you can take over the rest of the questions from here, and I can come back to everyone for the evaluation survey. Over to you, Meenakshi.
Thank you, Vicky. I think most of the questions have been answered by Darren and myself. So it's only the regular questions. One is, I'm a research scholar in management. Can I apply for GRA? So I think, yeah, would like to answer.
Yes.
Anju, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, sure. As just said, we just shared that we are, the program is open for all disciplines. So you are very welcome to apply for the program.
Yeah, we entertain all the disciplines, all the subject areas, all the domain of knowledge. So please feel free to explore the opportunity that is being provided by and Mitacs partnership here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anju.
I would like to just quickly mention that for this particular program that we've been discussing, typically the applications have have identified a home and host university and professor. So it's not necessarily that you are applying to do research abroad without having identified a professor who is already willing to accept you and kind of supervise you over that period. So there is some work that is required to do outside of the application process. Typically, it's working with your supervisor in India or Canada and reaching out to these international researchers to see if whether they are interested in doing these international collaborations.
Thank you, Darren. Next is, will the Mitacs-SICI Alumni Initiative only open to alumni of the Globalink program? Can you tell us about the eligibility criteria? Will this program be subject to university quota too?
If I may like to attempt this. No, you need not to be an alumni of GRI program to be eligible to apply for GRA program. That is what we are talking about. So you, even if you haven't associated or collaborated or have received any grant from Shastri or Mitacs before, you are eligible. In fact, we would like to have more such applicants who have never associated with us. So please feel encouraged to apply for the grant for the program that we are offering. And for the quota, of course, you know, it's a pie that is available with us. So we need to equally distribute it, and so that, you know, we are justifying this to all our members. So I would say that accordingly, Mitacs would have ensured that all member institutions, all participants get a particular number of awards for themselves, for their student fraternity. So not restricting, but making it as a wise decision to distribute the awards in a fair manner. Darren, would you like to add something here? Darren, you are on mute.
No, Prachi, thank you. I will just answer the last part of the question. You've answered the first part perfectly. There are no requirements outside of like having to do an additional program before this one. And in terms of the quota for the fall, for the autumn call, there is no quota being put on this. So the universities are open to have as many projects in their university as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. Prachi, all the questions have been answered. So, yeah.
I think this is very well within the time that was stipulated for this program.
Yes.
If there is nothing else, Piki, would you like to attempt the poll now?
Yeah, hi. Yes, so it'll only take 45 seconds for us to launch the poll. This is just to find out how we did in the webinar today. So we start now. Another 45 seconds to go while everyone is attempting the questions. Please write to us with any of your questions. Should you require the PowerPoint presentations for the reference purposes, write to us on SICI applications at sici.org.in and SICI events at sici.org.in. So we are available on both the email IDs.
Yeah, and somebody is writing the last date has gone or it has ended, which is not the case. Program is still on. Jitender, I think, wrote this. Just be assured that the program is still open and we are receiving applications. So please go through the website of Shastri Institute and you'll see the program details there.
Thank you, Dr. Kaul. I think we will end the poll now. It's almost a minute. Thank you, all the attendees. Thank you, all the speakers, Meenakshi. And I think I would request Dr. Kaul to do the formal, ending of the session, because I think this has been very well done in the past 1 hour. We have answered all the questions, and today, for the first time, we don't have any pending questions as well. So that really shows that it has been a wonderful flow of the session itself. So again, over to you, Dr. Kaul. For your to sign off. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you all my colleagues joining in from in the early morning from Canada side and Anju from India side. I can only say that the information is sinking in amongst this fraternity. Because there have been shift in programming and the way the programming have been placed to the audience or to prospective applicants. And I'm sure we will receive, we have had wonderful experience in terms of number of applications being received. receiving of program from Indian side for GRI program, and I am confident that GRA would also be hitting the ground very well. So let's be prepared to receive more and more applications, and I'm sure because the program officer here, Anju, have started receiving a lot of queries on this program, and I think the other program officers also get to hear from applicants who are exploring the opportunity for Mitacs and Shastri partnership program. So I think we have to be collaborating in detail time and again. We will be coming together for such sessions, and we will ensure that each and every applicant is answered well, and we have responded to them in a timely manner so that they can submit in their applications well on time. With this note, I think it's time to say goodbye. I once again thank you, all of you. And look forward to engage with you once again very soon. Thank you, and good day and good evening, all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. Goodbye,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you.